What's going on, guys? It's Final, and for today's video, I just wanted to go ahead and upload this footage I took on my phone. Sorry for the crappy image quality. I actually forgot my tripod for my camera, so yeah, I couldn't think of a better way to get an angle of me smoking, considering I wasn't smoking fully inside of the hotel. I was leaning out the window for the most part, not necessarily there. I kind of just blew the smoke towards it. I mean, yeah, it was also like 3:50, 3:55 when I started recording this. I honestly should have probably waited just that couple of minutes so I could say that I made 420. I probably did. I probably just like hit the cartridge or something right before bed. I'm sure I made 420 this night actually because I was up for it. Usually when I'm up for it, smoking right beforehand, I'm smoking right through 420. But anyway, that's not the point of the video. This was really just background footage of I wanted something relevant. Honestly, this is literally the hotel that we stayed at right after the Boston Freedom Rally. So, yeah, I just wanted to have this footage to have in the background while I talked about the Boston Freedom Rally more in depth. So, what I had or what we had talked about in the last video, me and my girlfriend, about the Boston Freedom Rally was for the most part just the parking, the people we saw, and I think we really kind of just very, very lightly covered it. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, go into a little bit more detail as best as I can, at least. It's hard to paint a picture if you've not gone to any sort of event of the kind. Like, I mean, think a food truck event. There's those little booths, those little tents, those little booth tents, and there's plenty of those. I guess it's closer to a convention. I just used food truck as an example because I have a video of me going to one. I just realized I didn't have any footage of the booth tents that I'm talking about in that video, but yeah, at least to my knowledge. But yeah, there definitely was a bunch of those. So it's just a common event tent. There was a bunch of vendors selling CBD, bunch of people selling topical CBDs, people selling just, a wide range of CBDs. There's actually a place selling CBD flowers, and they had a nice little table with all the flowers out. You could actually go as far as smelling them, and I think they had a couple of nuggets in a jar that you could actually hold and just look at and stuff like that. So that's not anything I've experienced before, not in such an open public setting. I mean, keep in mind, this was in the Boston Commons, a historical park. So we're all standing in the Boston Commons, crowded with people. I mean, a huge, huge cloud of haze basically covering the entirety of the commons. I mean, at least half of it. I want to say where the hill was, where the stage was, it was definitely foggy. The smoke was definitely leaving the commons as well, because I remember when I was going to park, the first thing I thought when I was probably like just first seeing the Boston Commons, I was like, oh wow, there's just a blanket of smoke covering this entire area. It must be floating away from the commons. And then, sure enough, we drive a little bit closer. Oh man, to drive around the commons during this event, it was seriously dreadful. I just want to say, get there early, find the best parking, not at a parking garage that charges literally $10 every 30 minutes, because that's just outrageous. I don't know who could afford that. Maybe they just up those prices in the Commons parking lots to deter stoners from coming, just, making them think that, I don't know, like, it'd be too expensive to go or something like that. I have no idea what the point of the price point being that high. I guess Boston is just a city like that. Nothing I've experienced before was that high of a price point. But also apparently lenient on marijuana usage publicly. I mean, I don't want to say lenient normally. It was a freedom rally, so obviously people were going to be smoking as a protest to whatever. There was a bunch of cops driving around. Definitely didn't see anybody receiving citations or fines of any kind. And considering there was people running around with those shoulder bags slung across their torsos, just filled with edibles and pre-rolls and concentrates of the like. That was insane. I didn't think that I would witness that happening there, especially with the amount of police presence at all of the entrances and exits. They really were making sure, I guess, nothing really wrong went down. Everything that was happening, to my knowledge, was pretty morally all right. I mean, in my eyes, at least, I don't give a shit if you smoke weed in public. It doesn't offend me. People walk around smoking cigarettes all of the time, and honestly, that offends me more than it probably should, considering I used to smoke them myself. But yeah, when I did smoke them, I would definitely hold them down while passing people. Like, dude, people walk past in the street hitting cigarettes and just blow it in your face. I swear to God, they do it on purpose. Anyway. Yeah, the Boston Freedom Rally, man. All in all, I really enjoyed it. Another thing that I had just remembered, and I know that I didn't mention it in the prior video, there was not the food stand that sold the salmon steak sandwich, but I think like the official Commons food hut. I'm not even sure if that's a thing or if that was set up just for the event. But there was like a food hut selling moderately priced kind of just American food, like, like just the basic stuff. At one of the tables at the event, there was, like probably 10 people. They pulled chairs around this big table and they brought all their dab mats and all their rigs, and they were all, concentrates all out on the table, just dabbing like they're at home. That was what blew my mind. The first thing I thought was, shit, I should have brought mine. And then also the second thought was, dang, I get these cops probably just don't want to do something, considering there's so many people breaking the very same law. Like, if you're gonna go after one person for it, they can easily be like, why are you targeting me? In that case, they were literally like one of the few people that brought straight pieces that were so blatantly using pipes and stuff like that. I mean, like, the joints were blatantly, people were just walking around smoking joints, but honestly, they had some pretty big rigs out with the torches and everything. You're just going ham at it, and honestly, I love that, man. That's the kind of environment I want to surround myself in. So wherever in the world that has that, point me towards it. I'm trying to go there. I think Colorado just recently started approving more public consumption lounges for cannabis, because before they had a Clean Air Indoor Act that covered vaping and smoking, and there was basically no consumption of that stuff unless you joined a paid membership club, because then they could categorize it as like a cigar club or something like that and say that the people that are going, know that they're going to be inhaling hella smoke that could potentially be unhealthy. So I think that recently they opened up the doors to cannabis consumption lounges in Colorado. I think there's a couple getting licensed now, so that's pretty cool. It's probably going to be some dab bars popping up in Colorado soon. Guess I probably should go over there. That would ultimately be really nice. I know in the last video I was like, honestly, Mass is dope, would live there, and then immediately the day after they did the vape ban, which is, insane. I didn't think that they would just ban sales of electronic nicotine devices and liquids, as well as THC cartridges and all of the accessories and anything related to vaping and vaporizing. I just it's a huge shame, but I am at least glad that I was able to acquire a tank before I left, and yeah, that was pretty nice. Guess I got to experience one of the last tanks that at least legally sold in Massachusetts until January 25th. Dang, that's after the holidays. That is super beat. Sorry, Mass, that's awful. And nonetheless, Boston Freedom Rally was a great time. Would love to make it to the next one if I could. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I'm probably going to start doing more life stories as I get more comfortable talking to the microphone. But until then, I hope you guys have a good night. And yeah, stay groovy or whatever. First time we're saying it. Peace.